forever. This is something that he picked up.
Coast to coast instrumentals.
What's happening, everybody? This is your boy, the King, Calvin Jones Jr., that is. I'm going to talk about today the truth about the NRA and gun safety. It's been an ongoing debate lately. The shooting that happened in Parkland, Florida, the young 18-year-old, there's been many different stories, and for some kind of reason or another, they find a way to trace it back to an organization that's standing for the rights of other people, you understand? And I'm actually going to read you an actual article that was very touching to me. It's called Predators, Guardians, and Prey. And this is by James R. Jarrett, who is the NRA Kerry Guard Director of Curriculum. So this is from one of the main people, so in it, you will see whether or not it is detrimental or if they behind anything. And I don't believe that as an NRA member, recruiter, and a Kerry Guard member, you understand, I don't believe that we're saying anything negative, but this is for people that need to know. You got predators, you also have guardians, and you have prey. And this was a wonderful topic. I was just reading like the end part. I didn't actually see the beginning part of it, but I just want to give you a little sample of how we're coming from, and you tell me whether or not, we doing something different. They say the unpleasant truth about life is that it's unpredictable and can, in the twinkling of an eye, change in dramatic and tragic ways. We are all vulnerable to catastrophic events, moments that have a life-changing or permanent effect upon the rest of our lives, or in worst-case scenarios, result in the end of our lives or the lives of loved ones. Our vulnerability to individual catastrophic events depends upon our age, physical condition, gender, geographic, lifestyle, and our physical and mental preparedness. However, of all the variables that contribute to the elevation of the individual's vulnerability index, denial is the single most critical contributor to victimization. From medical health considerations such as having regular checkups to not taking preemptive steps to reduce the possibility of victimization by crime, denial of the risk of factors associated with it. The aforementioned circumstances is arguably the one factor in our lives over which we can exercise a significant amount of control. For the purposes of this discussion, I will focus on the mitigation of the risk factors associated with our exposure to criminal violence. And so far, this article is very informative to potential people who want to consider joining. You understand, just from the basics of what you're saying, and those that were naysayers, you can take your chance from that. But it goes on to say it's a very informative article for people who have their opinions about what the NRA is really standing for. For the purpose of this discussion, again, he says, I will focus on the mitigation of the risk factors associated with our exposure to criminal violence. Specifically, we'll be focusing on the random criminal depredations that can occur either in familiar private environs or in the public commons. Now, at no point right there was it saying, that they were encouraging people to do anything negative. Also, here it go again. One of the purposes of the civilizing process is the attempt to eliminate or reduce the amount of random and personal violence that was so well articulated by the Thomas Hobbes. In a primitive state of nature, the rule of fang and claw prevails. The strong prey upon the weak, and anyone outside of the tribe or clan is considered fair game. With the articulation of the modern philosophical concept of the social contract as the basis for human interactions in a civilized setting, a circular baseline for acceptable standards of conduct was established to supplement earlier historical theological interpretations of moral law. Now, I want to go back into some of the deeper parts. I'm not going to read the entire article. It was just some key points, that I wanted to key in to that really give you direction on what the guard pretty much deal with. And and it doesn't sound terroristic at all, from my point of view. And one of the key areas that it keys in so far, that I want you to really get if you're an opposer, it said, in a primitive state of nature, the rule of fang and claw prevails, the strong prey upon the weak. That's one thing that you can pretty much agree to, that the strong do always prey upon the weak, but this, what I'm about to discuss with you now, is very deep. It talks about, in recent years, analogies have been made, particularly in the military special operations community, about the concept of predator and prey. Predator and prey, again, to say that where are we at? The analogy is not the expected two-tiered differentiation of predator and prey, but incorporates a more comprehensive viewpoint of a three-tiered assessment of modern society. The analogy appropriately draws upon the animal world, reflecting a simple ethological perspective. According to the analogy, humans are divided into three categories: wolves, sheep, and sheepdogs. Now, this was very deep, and this is kind of going to sum up, what the NRA Carry Guard and anything else that this wonderful organization is doing, to encourage people. Most people follow themselves as either one of these categories: the wolves, the sheep, or the sheepdogs, which was deep, because as a minister, I always talk about the sheep and the wolves, but I never really discuss the sheepdogs, which is it was very eye-catching when I was reading and doing my little research and stuff, and I wanted to have some information that's validatable to the listenership. It says here, wolves are predators, which that's true too. Pure and simple, they are efficient scavengers and predators. They act without conscience or empathy. Now, as you go on and see, you will see what area the NRA stands. You understand? You're going to really see whether we're promoting to be the wolves, the sheep, or the sheepdogs. This is what I wanted to take a look at on this afternoon regarding